A single statement has once again pushed US-Iran relations into dangerous territory. Donald Trump publicly warned Iran as large-scale protests spread across the country. Within hours, Iranian leaders responded with sharp threats of their own. Diplomatic channels tightened, global markets reacted, and security experts raised alarms. The question now is simple. Is this another political exchange or the beginning of a serious global confrontation? Tensions between the United States and Iran have remained high for years, especially after the US withdrew from the Iran nuclear agreement and imposed strict economic sanctions. Those sanctions severely impacted Iran's economy, currency, and oil exports. Iran responded by expanding its nuclear activities and increasing its regional influence across the Middle East. The relationship shifted into a constant state of pressure. Economic punishment, military signalling, and public warnings from both sides. This fragile situation has remained unresolved, with no long-term diplomatic breakthrough. Iran is now facing widespread protests driven by inflation, unemployment, and public frustration. These protests have drawn international attention. Donald Trump issued a public warning, stating that the United States would support Iranian protesters if the government used force against them. The message quickly spread across global media and social platforms. Iranian officials reacted immediately, accusing Trump of interference and warning that any US involvement would be treated as a hostile act. State-controlled media framed the remarks as a direct threat to national sovereignty. Behind the scenes, US allies, security analysts, and intelligence agencies began monitoring potential responses, including cyber activity, regional military movement, and diplomatic fallout. Political analysts note that governments facing internal unrest often respond more aggressively to external pressure, increasing the risk of escalation. Several outcomes are now being closely watched. First, military tension. Direct war remains unlikely, but indirect conflict through cyber attacks, drone activity, or regional proxies could intensify quickly. Second, economic impact. Any instability involving Iran affects global oil supply. Rising oil prices would directly impact fuel costs, inflation, and markets worldwide. Third, nuclear escalation. Iran may accelerate its nuclear program as leverage, increasing concern among Western nations and Middle Eastern allies. Fourth, internal crackdown. External pressure often leads governments to tighten internal control. Protesters may face harsher consequences as authorities frame unrest as foreign-backed interference. For Americans, this situation connects directly to energy prices, global security, and political debates at home. The escalation between Trump and Iran is more than political messaging. It's a high-risk exchange taking place during an already unstable moment. History shows that major conflicts often begin with words, not weapons. Subscribe for continued updates on global tensions. Comment below. Will this situation cool down, or is it moving towards something more serious? Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next major development. Do you believe this situation will calm down, or is it moving toward a serious conflict? Drop your answer in the comments.